half in the bag. I'm filled with gas. No. No. Oh, God damn it. Oh, fucking come on. God fucking damn it. It's the last fucking straw, motherfucker.
Wow, is your NFT doing that bad?
No, I was just sick and tired of hearing about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Shut the fuck up about it already.
Johnny's suing Amber? I hadn't heard that.
He's suing her for defamation.
I heard it was because of defecation.
Defamation causes defecation, which causes defamation. And it's gripped the nation.
I hope none of the monitor went into my coffee. I hope it did.
So did you see any good movies this year?
We're back for another catch-up episode, I guess.
We saw films in 2022. It's nearing June, the halfway mark of 2022. And instead of watching The Batman...
We're never, ever going to watch The Batman.
Never, ever going to watch The Batman.
That's become like, do you remember The Boondock Saints? Do you remember that film?
I've never seen it. I heard it's a dude bro douchebag movie.
I've never seen it because I think it bombed in the theaters, but when it was on video, there's so many people. Dude, you guys see Boondock Saints? You guys like the
Doonbox Saints?
The Doonbox Saints. All the people that recommended that movie to me were so obnoxious about it that I intentionally avoided it. And now we have that same situation with The Batman. Yeah. Dude, you don't understand. It's not like other comic book movies. It's not like a Batman movie. But it literally is a Batman movie. It might be great. I'm never going to see it ever. Out of spite.
Out of spite. You're going to your grave without seeing Robert Pattinson.
That's going to go on my tombstone. He never saw The Batman.
The Batman. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And post a comment on what you'd like us to review next. We're guaranteed to listen.
If we get to 100,000 likes, we'll watch The Batman.
Oh, yeah.
I said we'll watch it. We don't have to talk about it in a video.
How about 100,000 comments?
What if we, instead of 100, because this will be easier to keep track of, because we can pin a comment, like one of our own comments under the video.
Oh, okay.
So we'll pin, we'll watch The Batman if this comment gets to 100,000 likes.
Yes. And if that comment, the pinned comment at the top of the comment page, gets to 100,000, because can you like a comment?
Yeah.
Oh, so all you have to do is like the comment.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yes, this is...
I'm rarely on YouTube. So if you like the comment that says, we will watch The Batman, and it gets to 100,000 likes, we will watch The Batman. Watching The Batman, not guaranteed. But it'll happen. So click that like button. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Smash it. I heard Darth Vader's coming back.
Oh, great.
He's coming back again in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with Darth Vader. It's really hard to smash a big lump of Darth Vader wax. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Oh, that was weak.
What happened?
Nothing. It fell on the floor.
Oh.
Probably because you knocked it down there. Yeah, I saw there was like some big article that came out yesterday about the future of Lucasfilm and like a big retrospective on Kathleen Kennedy and their plans for Star Wars, and I didn't even click on it. I don't care.
Vanity Fair does
okay.
their big, like, they get Annie Leibovitz, they take her out of her coffin, and they wheel her onto the, because she's a vampire, and they wheel her out. She's on like a dolly, like Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
And she has an
assistant. All these tubes going in
there.
and
she has an assistant that holds her camera, and she has like a little clicker. And she's on the dolly, and she's got the Hannibal Lecter like face mask on, so she doesn't bite someone's ear off. And then, Annie, how would you like everyone to stand? Well, everyone will be slightly spaced apart in a big wide format photograph.
Oh yeah.
And everyone will go.
Remember that photograph for the Dark Universe?
Did they wheel out old Annie for that?
Probably.
I want Annie Leibovitz to take a picture of you, me, and Rich. like we'll get the half in the bag set, right?
Yeah.
And when she'll get her wide format picture, it'll be like three folds in the Vanity Fair, and it'll just be you, me, and Rich, and we'll all be separated just enough, arm's length, because Star Wars is just a big like pile of human feces, and so they're trying to make it look like something fancy.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. It's not high art.
Well, it's like you were talking about Picard, how it's like reviewing it now is like reviewing any random show. That's how I feel about Star Wars. It's like being excited about the next season NCIS. Like, it's just a show. Who cares anymore?
Yeah.
It's just a product.
There's like going to be like 3 new shows. Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But she's going to have her own show, and then Baby Yoda has a show.
Well, that's the Mandalorian, right?
No,
Does he have another show?
There's a coming of age story, and I think it's about Baby Yoda.
Oh. What about Yaddle? When are they going to bring back Yaddle?
Yes.
God damn it.
So
Justice for Yaddle. Forget about justice for Johnny.
I can't keep up with all these shows.
Hashtag justice for Yaddle.
There's so many Marvel and Star Wars shows, I just can't keep up.
I just don't give
And
a
now
shit.
there's Star Trek shows too. Everyone says to watch Strange New Worlds. They say it's not that bad. It's like the difference between having stage 4 and stage 1 cancer. It's like stage 1's better than stage 4. That's what they should have called it, stage 1 cancer.
That's just Star Trek, stage 1 cancer? Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we're not here to talk about the endless Marvel and Star Wars products that are available for consumption.
No, we're here to talk about all the shows that Netflix has canceled.
Netflix just laid off 150 employees.
I know, Netflix is going down.
And
Now we'll never get to see Anti-Racist Baby. We've been deprived of Anti-Racist Baby.
What is that about other than an anti-racist baby?
I think it's all there in the title. I don't know.
Are they going to release an episode of Stranger Things every 6 months to keep people subscribed?
Keep coming back. I know this season that's coming out, they're releasing it in 2 parts. Like one's
That's become a thing now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to become a thing.
splitting a series into a season into 2 mini seasons.
They should just release them every week. I mean,
I used to be, for a while, I
okay
was
with
all on
that.
board with the dump it all at once. And I'm kind of past that now.
Yeah.
I kind of like the releasing an episode once a week.
yeah, I do too.
It keeps you more engaged. You watch them all at once, and it's like it washes over you, and you forget about it sooner. That's kind of happened with the first thing we're going to talk about, Severance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're getting right off on track here.
We're going to talk about Severance, the best goddamn show I've seen in a very long time.
Yes, but your caveat here is that it washed over you now?
No, I guess that's a bad segue. They
Was.
released it once a week, so it's the opposite of that.
Okay.
So everything I just said, I mean the opposite.
Sounded like a setup for the fact that Severance has washed over your brain.
No,
but it has
no,
not.
It has not. No, it stuck with me partially. Well, one because it's really good, but also because they were releasing it weekly.
Ironically, you did not forget Severance once.
Exactly.
Every time you find yourself here, it's because you chose to come back.
Well, Jay, tell our audience about Severance, one of the very few good shows on Apple Plus.
I think that's the biggest detriment of the show. If it was somewhere else, it would be getting way more attention than it has. Although for Apple TV Plus, it's gotten a decent amount of attention. But it deserves a lot more because it's really, really good. Very sort of weird and mildly comical, but doesn't push it too far.
Each of these is a real smile. And they rotate these through. The true number of smiles may well be in the millions.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call it a black comedy or a sci-fi series or a horror series or a drama series. It's sort of like a little piece of everything all in one, and it's
In a way that works, that doesn't turn into just mush.
a little mindfuckery, because it starts off as this concept. The concept is you can have your brain severed, where you once you come to this job, you don't remember who you were outside of the job, and vice versa. So once you get in this elevator, they do a Hitchcock zoom in, pull out, and then you go, ooh, and then and this company is very strange. So when these people come to work, Adam Scott and John Turturro and
lady who was really good. I don't know who
lady,
she is.
and then other guy. I don't know the actors' names, but they come to work, and I guess that part of their brain that says this job is so fucking weird is gone too.
Yeah.
They're in the department of data refinement, something like that, right?
It seems completely nonsensical.
Yeah, there's like numbers on they have old retro computers.
Yeah.
And they're
Retrofuturism, is that a term?
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
I think. So they're on the computers and there's numbers and they're like, you got to take the numbers and put them in these little folders.
But it's like intuitive, like
It's
you'll know when to click
yeah,
on this one. It makes it's very like Spike Jonesy.
Yeah,
that
and then
aspect of it.
As it goes on, the aspect of the business gets weirder and weirder and more like bizarre. They find a room with goats in it,
They have these weird little like celebrations. If you reach a certain goal at your job, you can have like a pancake party or a waffle party or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like looking at a M.C. Escher painting where it's like you recognize things that look right, but in a way they're wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing is everybody's essentially playing two characters because you see their outside, innies and outies they call them. They're basically two disconnected characters, and Adam Scott's great with that because his backstory is really sad, and on the outside world he's really depressed, which is kind of why he wanted to take this job where he could just disconnect for 8 hours, and the complete difference in his performance inside and out is like perfect.
Yeah, it's subtle, but very effective because you could just see the change. He's
like talks different. He's more like mumbly outside.
Yeah. And inside has a little more confidence because his wife died. That's one of the plot points, and it's not really a spoiler. And that's why he wants to sever. He tried to go back to teaching, and he just couldn't do it. So, but there's a more nefarious plot going on with the Severance, leader. Like it's almost cultish.
Yeah.
And so you're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then there's the ending of the season is just fantastic. You're just like hooked.
It's one of those things where we've talked about like limited series, how it just feels like a long movie. But this is one of those things where you get to the end and you're like, oh no, now I gotta wait for another season.
Yes, and that is where it gets dangerous. I trust this show and its smartness to continue on in a good path, but I won't name the shows, but I've started seasons 2 of shows and stopped.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I got what I wanted from season 1. I'm out.
That's my fear of this show is because I've been completely desensitized to ongoing mysterious TV shows thanks to Lost that ruined my faith in anything ever. So it's like that fear of like if Severance keeps going, like, oh, it's just going to be another Lost where they just keep introducing new mysterious weird things and the conclusions to them get less and less satisfying.
Well,
so far though, as one season of TV, Severance is great.
It's important your eyes be kind. Do you know how to make your eyes kind? On a beautiful day.
If we're going to bring up Lost, I will bring up a show called From.
God damn it.
Jim, we're driving in circles. You drove out this way. How did we get back here?
Fucking love it, but I'm a little concerned about the Lost effect because I think some people from Lost are involved in it, or there's some actors.
One of the actors is, yeah.
But it has that feel where it's like compounding mysteries, both with their setting. The premise of the show, which was what intrigued me, is people get trapped in this like small town. It's barely a town. There's like 5 buildings, a little diner, police station, a couple of houses, and you can't leave. And people have gotten stuck there from all over the U.S. They're just on a road trip and they just find themselves stuck in this town. They're like, how the hell did you get here from wherever? And they don't even know where they're at.
Right. And it's like if you try and leave, if you keep driving, you just end up at
You
the
just
start
end
of town
up,
again.
It's like
right?
Twilight Zone kind of premise. But on top of that is when the sun goes down, you have to be indoors and you have to have a talisman, like a rune kind of covered rock that they found hanging on the window of your house to ward off these monsters that come out at night. And they are monsters. They're like vampires They look like, when they show their true form, they look like Nosferatu vampires, like big teeth.
Okay.
But they look like dead people at first, and they try to lure you out of your house or let you in. Come inside, it's me, Grandma. And it's like a ghost, and the little girl's like, hi, Grandma, I missed you.
This is all very Stephen King-ish.
I'm so lonely.
Baby, please just...
Maybe I can come in.
Very Stephen King, and one of the first episodes, there's like a mother and a daughter, and the husband goes off and he gets drunk at a bar and he forgets to go home, and the girl lets the demon in, and they show full-on little 8-year-old girls ripped apart corpse.
Oh my God.
And the mother too. But I'm like, they don't show her getting killed, but they come in the room and they're like, oh, there's that little girl from 5 minutes ago, and her entire like chest cavity's ripped open.
Jesus.
And it's like, whoa! And it really sets the stage for how like vicious and awful these monsters are. It's almost necessary.
Okay.
But it's creepy and very engaging, and there's all these wonderful different characters all over the season. There's like a guy who's like Tony Stark meets Elon Musk. He's like a tech guru, like super smart guy who gets trapped in the town, and he's helping this other guy or main character who's an engineer. He's an engineer who builds roller coasters.
Okay.
So it's just like random people.
That's
and he's like,
you never see that as a character.
yeah,
for
he's like,
a
I'm
show.
an engineer, but I build roller coasters. He's like, okay, well, you're the second smartest person in this town next to me. I'm a tech genius, and so they build like a radio tower to try to transmit. Like it's that premise that I love, where people are trapped,
Yeah.
and they all have to work together to figure out a solution. Continuing on with our Lost discussion and extremely disappointing endings, Ozark.
Oh, did Ozark suck at the end?
It dropped the ball
Oh, that's
like it was made, not just of lead, but a condensed neutron star that weighs 150 billion times the weight of our entire solar system.
Wow.
That ball there went through our Earth, and it punched a hole in the space-time continuum.
I'm just sick of having blood on my hands, Wendy. It doesn't bother you?
That's my fear when everyone says, like, you got to watch Breaking Bad, you got to watch Mad Men, you got to watch one of these, like, long-running shows. It's like, Game of Thrones. Everyone was all about Game of Thrones, and then the last season comes out, and it sucks so bad, where I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't invest the time in that.
You know, Ozark, I will give it a pass because 95% of it was excellent and engaging, and the performances, Jason Bateman, so good in it. Everybody's so good in it. Laura Linney. And it's just like, they just didn't know how to end it.
Yeah.
And they
And
didn't.
it happens a lot with
It
shows.
was kind of like the last season, or even the second half of the last season, where it just like, we're like, oh God, we don't know what to do. And I'm sitting there like, you could have just done this. You could have just done this. Could have just. Let's just say, I don't know if this is spoilers. If it is, shut it off if you care. It ends with gunshot, fade to black.
Oh no!
Yeah, the like a cliche.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even make a whole lot of sense. And you're like, that's the ending of this show?
Yikes.
But the show is so good up until that point.
Okay.
I will tell you this, though. Breaking Bad ends pretty well. It's worth the watch. Same with Mad Men. They both conclude fine.
Those are more, I've heard they end fine. It's just there's so many seasons of it. It's like, oh, that's such a commitment.
Breaking Bad is a developing, every season it develops.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's spinning its wheels. You watch Walter White, a mild-mannered chemistry teacher, turn into a horrible monster, and his transformation is slow.
Yeah.
And there's pivotal points throughout it when he does something even worse than what he did before to keep this. It's very Ozark, where it's like every season just things get more and more complicated. It's very Breaking Bad, where the characters, especially his wife Wendy, she becomes more and more like corrupt, power hungry, and he's just trying to keep things even keel and get them out without getting killed. And they get involved in all these different drug organizations and all these different like ties to this and that, and it becomes this like tangled web. And so many people die because of their actions, and then they just spiral out of control. They open a casino, a riverboat casino, to launder money. Just all sorts of crazy shit happens, but it's just really like well done. And it sounds goofy, but it's like it was smart. But that ending,
They just didn't know how to end it.
they didn't really know how to end it, and what they chose out of a list of 65 different possibilities was the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So it's very sad, but I still love the show. So that's a show that ended this year, so it's technically in 2022.
Sure.
But check out check out Severance.
And if you're watching this in the future, I'm so sorry that they both went to shit. Because then there's other shows, like I watched, if we're still talking about shows, Archive 81 on Netflix, which was a decent show. It had a premise of a guy who has to restore VHS tapes and
seen the trailer,
high 8 tapes. It's like, oh, that's right up our alley. And it's very like slow building and atmospheric.
Look like a horror movie.
It's very, but it's got a really slow build to it. But then occasionally there'll be like a CGI creature that looks stupid, kind of takes you out of it. But the overall, and then like it's partially found footage because you're seeing the footage he's restoring, and it's not great, but it was relatively engaging. But then it ends with a big cliffhanger for season 2, and then Netflix didn't renew it, and it's just done.
Oh.
So that's that.
I mean,
Don't waste your time on it, even though it was okay, because it's going to go nowhere.
Shows being canceled is not a new concept of streaming, though.
I remember the first time I found out a show didn't continue was Alf, because they didn't know if they were going to get renewed for another season, so it ends on a cliffhanger where Alf is surrounded by all these FBI guys, and I was like, oh no, Alf! And then that was just the end of the series.
Did you cry yourself to sleep in your college dorm? Pour one out for Alf, buddies. At the frat party?
I was too distraught to go to the frat party.
Oh, okay. You didn't pour a 40 out for Alf?
No.
And then get fucking wasted?
I just cried into my Alf pillow.
I cried into my Star Wars pillow when they killed Han Solo.
I thought you were going to say you cried into your Star Wars pillow when they killed Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that many pillows.
This is for you.
Watching the new Kids in the Hall.
I guess, yeah, brief mention of Kids in the Hall. It's great.
Who are you people?
I love Kids in the Hall.
You know, a lot of their skits are hit and miss for me. It's like Russian roulette. 3 bullets in a 6-chamber gun. It's like half and half of the time. I guess that's a bad analogy.
Well, the thing I like about
Sounds like you're killing yourself.
in this case, a bullet to the head is good.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite stuff from the original series is the more kind of filmic, cinematic sketches.
My pen! Stop him! He's got my pen!
Because some of it is just filmed like a generic sitcom or something, with like an audience. And so the new show is all cinematic stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, there seems to be I'm not that familiar with Kids in the Hall, but I'm watching this because I'm like, interesting. I've seen some old stuff. I'm like, why don't I watch this? And it's a mixed bag of styles of sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Like you said, anti-humor, weird stuff. But then there's like more traditional stuff that feels kind of like improv, or a very scripted-y improv, and I'm like, no. But then there's bizarre stuff. My favorite bit was the Shakespeare bust.
I was going to mention that one, yeah.
Genius, and then the 60 and on the pole. like that, like a great comedy setup that has like punches.
Lots of good little bits within an already funny premise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's still at the landline. It's so hot.
They didn't.
And one that's self-deprecating. The show is very self-deprecating about the fact that they're all old now.
Yes, you got to do that. Humorists are often self-deprecating.
The first 5 minutes of the show is them just making fun of their failed movie.
Right,
Brain
yeah.
Candy.
That's funny.
Brain Candy has made its money back.
I knew it would. You know, I thought it would take a week, wound up taking 30 years.
Well, you're never wrong, Don.
And they bring back Don Rorter is his name. He's the
Guy in the towel?
That's Bellini. The Don Rorter is like the owner of the company where he's like, they're bringing back the kids in the hall.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically, because the original show and this one was produced by Lorne Michaels.
Yeah,
so he's doing a Lorne Michaels impression, and he did that in Brain Candy before Mike Myers did it with Dr. Evil.
Look, are we ever going to get the big table in here, or do I have to go out and cut down that fucking tree myself?
Yeah, Kids in the Hall, 8 episodes. It seems to allude at the end that they're going to do more, which would be nice.
Good.
They haven't missed a beat, those Kids in the Hall. They're still very funny.
Hilarious.
What else you got?
I got the opposite of hilarious, and I can't talk about it too much because I only watched 1 episode, and I was done. Mike Myers, everyone's favorite 90s comedian who hasn't been relevant in 20 years. He's back, baby.
He's 90?
With a Netflix series called The Pentaverate, which is a reference to an offhand joke in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Who is he creating a cinematic universe?
I guess he's bringing that back because he cannot let a bit die.
I'm being sent to Dubrovnik. I repeat, sent to Dubrovnik. What's Dubrovnik? Is that a euphemism for being probed in your no-no hole?
This is like all the worst. I like Mike Myers. I love Wayne's Worlds. I love Austin Powers. But after that, this show is like his worst impulses. It's like I'm going to play every character and I'm going to constantly laugh at my own jokes. And you know the kind of wordplay he does with like I don't know, when everyone's seen the rocket in the sky in the Austin Powers movie, and it's just euphemisms for dicks. It has that stuff, and it feels so tired.
Not tonight, dear. I've got a headache.
A stuffed deer.
Whereas, like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, Mike Myers. I'm done with you.
That's right up my alley.
You were stretching it with the third Austin Powers movie as far as, like, doing the same shtick. I'm done with it. Maybe you'll like it more, but I was just... The weirdest thing is, because it's like, he plays, the Pentaverate is like the secret organization, and there's whatever, 6, 7 people that are the heads of it, and he plays almost all of them, except for Keegan-Michael Key, who's surprisingly unfunny on it. I like him in general, but nobody's funny on it. Even the characters Mike Myers are playing, it's just the fact that he's wearing makeup and doing a funny voice, like that's the extent of the joke.
You need to rest. For tomorrow you have initiato, and you must fuck us.
What? I will not do that.
You must fuck us very hard.
If you just can't get enough of Mike Myers doing a funny voice.
Well, what are our television recommendations, Jay?
Severance. And that's it.
Severance. Ghost Adventures. There's a new episode coming out tomorrow.
I feel like there's always a new episode coming out tomorrow.
My once favorite ghost show, A Haunting, has gone downhill so bad.
I didn't even know that show was still on.
It's on season 11.
Oh my God.
It's terrible, but it's hilarious at the same time.
Even though it was so scary when it happened.
Because the production value, the cost of the show is probably like $150 an episode. It's so bad, and the actors they hire are so bad.
We should do like a scary surgical room with like bloody nurses and doctors.
Like the one we did together back in high school.
Yes, but much better, much scarier.
Is that show, do they do like recreations or is it meant to be real?
It's recreations.
Okay.
It's mostly
bad recreations can be funny.
Yeah, it's mostly like they interview the real people, and they're like, being interviewed, and then they have a narrator and with the spooky voice, and then the whole show is basically like a narrative recreation where there's actors who are playing the people telling this real ghost story. It's hilarious. If you want to watch a show that's on a major network, Discovery Channel, under the Discovery Channel banner, that has the lowest production value. For example, there's a scene where most recent episode, I know you're going to cut all this out.
If I can find clips of it, I won't cut it.
Just going to cut all this out. Where they're in this cabin, and the cabin's super old, right? And the girl's like, I wanted to remodel this haunted cabin because the ghost kept bothering us.
Nicole ends up sharing her bed with an unwelcome guest.
So I started tearing up the carpet, and it was this nasty carpet that probably has been there since the 1940s. And then they show the shot, and they went out to Home Depot and they bought a brand new roll of carpet.
It looked like indoor-outdoor carpeting from probably the 1940s or 50s.
And they laid it on the floor, and they unrolled it, and then she rolled it back up, and she's like slowly rolling it to pretend like she's removing the carpet.
Made no effort to make it look real.
Yes, yeah, and it's like old carpet you rip it out, and there's like dust, and there's the foam underneath it, and it was just laying on hardwood, right? And then they peel it back, and she's just like pretending to roll it. And I think they added some sound effects of like ripping, and I'm like, that's brand new fucking carpet that they just bought at the big box home store.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing old looking about this carpet. It was hilarious. And then, of course, the thing was that they revealed a blood stain, right? And the blood is still red and wet. And she's like, oh, it stinks.
But it's supposed to be blood that's been there for decades?
50 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, a blood stain from 50 years under carpet would just look like a faint brown stain. Like blood turns like a brown color after it's, and it would not look red, and it would not definitely still be wet. So it's like like whoever's making
maybe a ghost kept it preserved.
Whoever's making this show, they're just like, whatever. We have to show someone ripping up carpet in this haunted cabin from 1940s carpet. They're like, well, what's the cheapest way we could possibly do this?
Yeah.
There's stuff like that, and then there's some really lousy acting. I was laughing hysterically at a recent episode.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
It's blood, Adrian.
I gotta say, you're selling me on it. I love bad recreations.
Oh, you'll like watch the most recent season of.
Did it used to have higher production value?
It used to be kind of a spooky show in the first couple of seasons.
Okay, then everybody gave up.
The production value was okay. They kept using the same set, but it was a little like more spooky. I kind of more so believe this now. No, this is trash.
Well, now that they're not trying, I'm way more interested.
They are trying as little as possible to get a show out.
That sounds great.
With the worst actors you'll ever see on a actually produced show on television.
Why are you so scared? It's just me.
I know, this house.
Unfathomably bad.
Can they pronounce words is the real question.
They got to hire me on one of the shows. I'll say, this ghost is unfathomably bad. I'm frightened out of my whisk.
Out of my whisk.
Out of my whisk. I'm frightened out of my whisk.
Well, that's our section on TV shows, recent TV crap. Slim pickings, but Severance is great. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about movies. Either after this commercial break or in another video we release in a week and a half.
Stay tuned to find out.
If the video ends here, I guess you'll know.
And if it doesn't end here, then we'll talk about movies.
Yeah, but the important part is to like our pinned comment saying we will watch the Batman.
If it gets to 100,000 likes, we will watch the Batman and do a proper review of it.
Oh, I didn't agree to this part of it. What are you talking about?
You just want to say you watched it?
We'll just watch it. We don't have to make a video about it.
Oh, okay. Well, how will they know that you've watched it, though, without a proper discussion of it?
Well, just say we watched it.
Are you trustworthy?
I don't know. What do you people think?
Watching the Batman, not guaranteed.